Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands. True School Sports subscribers now, where's my brethren? Cuba. Shout out to Cuba. Speaking of Cuba, let's talk about him. Let's talk about Yordenis Ugas, the welterweight well, I don't want to call him a prospect anymore. He's a welterweight challenger. Okay, he's a welterweight challenger. Guy who's made his way up the rankings. He's now worked his way up into the mandatory position for Errol Spence's IBF title. And he had a sensational performance on the undercard this past weekend against Ray Robinson, the Danny Garcia, Brandon Rios undercard. And here we have a guy, Ugas. Before I get into what happened and whatnot, let's just backtrack. Ugas was a guy that in the Olympics, 2008 to be exact, he won a bronze medal for Cuba. Then he came up into boxing. He was fighting in the 140-pound division. Didn't necessarily have the most success in the world. Took some losses to the likes of Labamir Imam, a couple early losses in his career. Then he was labeled as a bust. His career was kind of in limbo. Then, PBC set him up as an opponent to fight some of the top prospects that they were trying to prop up at the time. Jamal James, Brian Perella, guys that nature. He wound up upsetting some of those guys. And one of them, especially the Jamal James fight, was a pretty close fight. Then he fought, a good, tough veteran, former world title challenger, Thomas Delorme, beat him. And then this week, he got that shot against Ray Robinson, another guy who was on the comeback trail as well, and looked nothing short of sensational against him scoring stoppage victory. So, it's a story for Ugas, a guy that's kind of built himself up, rebuilt himself up after leaving a lot to be desired early in his pro boxing career. And you know what? You got to respect Ugas, not just for the kind of a fighter he is in the ring, but more for the fact of how he's conducting himself outside of it. A lot of guys right now, because a lot of times in boxing, us as fans, we focus on the negative. We focus on which guy is ducking who and all that stuff. Because we got Sean Porter ducking Errol Spence. We got Keith Thurman ducking Errol Spence. A lot of guys ducking Errol Spence at the moment because he's looking like a guy that a lot of these guys don't want to fight at the moment. But here you have Ugas, a guy who not only is his mandatory, who's working his way up into the number 2 mandatory spot, but Yordenis Ugas also is calling Errol Spence out. And here's what he had to say verbatim via Instagram. He said, I quote, "Hey, champion Errol Spence Jr., my respects to you. I'm ready to go to Dallas for that belt. Let's do it." So there you have it. Ugas, calling out Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, for those of you who don't know, he's supposed to be having a hometown fight coming up in June in Dallas, Texas. And it's supposed to be a tune-up fight. They were saying Carlos Ocampo being the number 1 mandatory challenger. That would be the fight that will happen. But hey, this could also be another option you could look at if you want to make that more of an intriguing, exciting fight for the hometown fans. Ugas is a very slick boxer, good, decent puncher. I think, look, Errol Spence is a good fighter. Errol Spence probably you could say is the number 1 welterweight in the world right now. I would honestly say that. But at the same time, man, like Ugas, I think could go in there and he can give Errol Spence some problems with his movement, with his I don't know what the reach is, but I know he's big he seems a little bit big. He seems like a good size for the weight class. He can punch and land from awkward angles. So I don't think it's a bad fight if it does happen, and I wouldn't mind seeing it. And for Ugas to capture a world title, should he do that against an Errol Spence, it'd be a fantastic story. This is a guy, like I said, he's left a lot to be desired, and I think even at his advanced age, because I know he's not a young guy, this is a guy that I believe has finally began to come into himself as a fighter. With Ugas being at the age of 31 years old. So, that's the news, man. A lot of people are talking about Porter ducking Spence and Thurman ducking Spence, but let's focus on who Spence or who wants to fight Spence. And one of those guys comes in the form of an exciting fighter by the way of Cuba, named Yordenis Ugas. If you don't know him, check him out. He's had some pretty good fights in the past, exciting ones. He had a good fight with Delorme. He had a good performance, a fantastic performance against Ray Robinson this weekend. And even though he lost to him early in his career when he fought Mir Imam, that was a good little fight there too. So, that's the news. Yordenis Ugas calls out Errol Spence Jr. What you guys think? You guys want to see this fight? Because I know the other option will be Carlos Ocampo. So make your pick, Carlos Ocampo or Yordenis Ugas. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. In regards to the two fighters, does Yordenis Ugas stand a chance to win? You can let me know that in the comments down below as well. Like I said in every video, man, my name is Brendan Taylor. You can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, Take care, guys.